Hello friends, so today we're going to use the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. I'm going to use a Ring the Alarm palette for this look today, and the first shade I'm going to go ahead and pick up is called Rush. I'm going to use this on a R37 and apply this all over my crease. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit at a time, and as I get less product on the brush, I'm going to go ahead and start blending it upwards. Next shade I'm going to take is called Mugshot, and I'm going to take this on a M433 brush and apply this in the crease as well. This brush is a little bit more dense, so it's not going to blow out the product as much as the first brush did, but that's okay. We want this color a little bit more defined in the crease. Now I'm taking the R37 and just blending those two colors in together. After that, I'm going to pick up the shade Secret, and I'm going to use this on a E36 brush, and I'm going to start packing this shade on into the inner and outer corners of my eye. So since we are creating a halo eye today, we're going to have the dark colors in the outer corners and in the lighter colors more towards the center of the lid. I'm just taking a little bit at a time and just packing this shade on. And I'm trying not to get it too high into the crease. Next shade I want to pick up is called Siren, and I'm going to use this on the same E36 brush and apply this shade right next to that dark brown color, but going a little bit more into the into the center of our lid. So this just creates like a nice gradient between that dark brown and that reddish brown that we're using right now. And to blend that out, I'm using a M514 brush and just very lightly blending out the edges of those colors. And I'm just going back and adding a little bit more of that darker brown shade in the outer corners. Next, we're going to take the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, and I'm going to go ahead and place this on in the center part of my lid where I left it blank. And I'm taking this pretty high up into the crease. So I'm just going to work very slowly and take a little product at a time. And I'm almost creating like a wide V shape with this concealer. Next shade I want to take is called On Camera. I'm using this on a MAC 242 brush. I'm just going to start packing this right over that concealer. So I'm going to try to get it as pigmented as I possibly can. And I'm just taking a little bit more of Siren and just placing that in between the gold and that reddish shade, just so there's no harsh lines. And going back in with a little bit more Secret. And just lightly blending with the M514 again. To highlight my brow bone, I'm going to take a nylon from MAC, and use this on a MAC 228 brush and just place this on the highest point of my brow and then just blend it downwards. And I'm just blending with the R37. I don't have any additional product on this brush. For gel liner, I'm using Laura Mercier. This is in the color black, and I'm going to use this on a Sephora number 15 brush, and I am going to create a wing today. Okay, now I'm going to take the Stila Magnificent Metal Glitter Glow Shadows, and I'm using this on a tiny little tart brush. This is a liner brush. And I'm going to go ahead and place this glitter right in the crease. So I'm starting it in the center, and I'm just kind of fanning it out towards the edges. I'm not going all the way through the crease, just mainly in the center part of my crease, right above that gold shade. You don't have to do this step, but I think it looks absolutely stunning. And for lashes today, I'm using Tarte lashes in the style Girl Boss. These are very fluffy lashes. I'm just gonna apply them with my hands and just adjust them with the tweezers. And for liner on my lower lash line, I'm using the Maybelline Eye Studio Gel Liner. This one it's a little bit more, it's very waterproof, so it stays pretty good in the lower lash line. I'm going to use this to tightline as well. And I'm using that same brush from Sephora, the Sephora number 15 brush. Now I'm going to go back in with the shade Secret and go ahead and start packing that on my lower lash line with a M432 brush. And right underneath that, I'm going to take the shade Mugshot and use this on an E18 and just smudge that underneath the dark brown shade. For mascara today, I'm going to use Grandiose by Lancôme. I'm going to use this mascara to coat my lower lashes and just mesh my upper lashes with the false ones. And I'm making sure to apply most of that mascara just at the base of the lashes. And this is what we have so far for the eyes. The rest of the video is going to focus on a full face routine. So moving on, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Step 1 primer. I'm just going to use this with my fingers and just push it into the skin. So that way it fills in any lines and pores. After that, I'm going to take this NARS Pro Prime line and pore filling stick. And I'm just going to use this on the areas where I get a little bit more creasing. So that's usually my smile lines and underneath my eyes and a little bit on the cheeks as well. And for foundation today, I'm using Tan Idol Ultra by Lancôme. I'm just going to stamp this onto my face and then just blend it out with a beauty blender. And look at that, full coverage. I'm going back in with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I'm going to go ahead and apply this. Use this to conceal underneath my eyes and also highlight a little bit. The areas I'm going to highlight is going to be the center of my forehead, a little bit on the bridge of my nose, and then on the center of my chin as well, and right above my lips. And then I'm just going to go back in with the Beauty Blender and just start stamping that out. Okay, to blend the inner corners of my eye, I'm just using this blending brush by Morphe. I think this is an E40. So this is just going to get that product right in the inner corners where I can't reach with the Beauty Blender. I'm just going to blend all over the areas where I apply that concealer as well. Next, I'm going to take the Shade and Light palette by Kat Von D, and I'm going to go ahead and use this center shade, and I'm going to use this to set in all the areas where I applied the concealer. And the brush I'm using is the Kat Von D brush as well. This is the Shade and Light brush. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier translucent powder on a E41 brush. First, I always just tap the powder into my face and then I'll sweep it over. And to bronze, I'm going to use all those 3 shades on the bottom of the Kat Von D palette. And I'm also going to use the flip side of that brush as well. So I'm just going to bronze up my cheekbones, and I'm going to go ahead and do my forehead as well as my jawbone and my chin. I'm just taking a little bit more of that yellowy shade from the same palette and just carving out my cheekbones a little bit. And to bronze up my nose, I'm using a M504 brush by Morphe. And I also apply a little bit of bronzer underneath my lips as well. I'm just going back in with that yellow shade one more time and just carving out the nose area. So just applying a little bit on the center and the sides of the nose. For blush today, I'm going to use Sunbask. This is by MAC. This is a beautiful coppery reddish tone. And this brush is a MAC 137. So I always apply blush on the cheek, on the center, on the apple of my cheek, and then just blend it backwards and upwards. For highlighter, I'm using Champagne Pop by Becca. I'm going to use this on an M510 brush. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight the top of my cheekbones. And I'm also going to do the bridge of my nose and on top of my lips as well. And for brows, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer like always, and the shade I use is called Chocolate. So I just comb through my brows a couple of times first, and then I will start filling them in starting from the bottom line of my brow. I'll just make a straight line all the way across, and then I'll do the same thing along the top of my brow, just so I get a nice guide of how thick I want my brows to be. And usually I'll stay pretty close to my own shape. And once I have that shape perfected, I'll just go ahead and go back in and just fill it in. And in the beginning of my brows, I'll just draw little flicks mimicking the growth of the hair, so it looks very natural. And then I'll just brush it through a couple of times and see where it needs to be filled. And voila, look at the difference. And just to set in those brows, I'm going to use the Clear Brow Gel by Anastasia as well. For lips today, I'm going to use this combo. These are liquid lipsticks from Anastasia Beverly Hills. The first shade I'm going to use is called Heathers, and I'm going to use this shade just to kind of outline my lips. So I'm using this just around the edges of my lips and just leaving the center of them blank. And next I'm going to take that orangey shade and go ahead and put that right in the center of my lips. And then I'm just going to smack my lips together a couple of times just so I can blend those two colors in together. And that way it creates a nice ombre effect. And to set in my makeup, I'm going to go ahead and use a Morphe mist and apply a generous amount of this, and then just fan myself off with my hands. And voila, this is the final look, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. You made it this far. I know this is a long video, but I really appreciate all the views. And please make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.